Hi friends, in this video I would like to discuss about the radiology of elbow joint. Regarding elbow joint, please note these technical terms. This is supracondylar area of humerus, distal end of humerus. In children, fall on an outstretched hand cause injury to the supracondylar area of humerus. That particular area is very weak in children, so that there is more chance of fracture to that particular area. Here, please note, you can see anterior fat pad, which is very near to anterior humeral line. Anterior humeral line is drawn through the anterior surface of humerus. It is very near to anterior humeral line and it is concealed in the coronoid fossa. And this posterior fat pad is concealed in the olecranon fossa. And here you can see radial head and radial neck. There is a mild angulation in between the radial neck and shaft of radius. Here you can see olecranon process of ulna. This olecranon process of ulna is articulating with the distal end of humerus, and there is one superior radio-ulnar joint. And for this, a single joint capsule is covering these two joints. One joint is in between humerus and ulna, other in between ulna and radius. Here also you can see this is supracondylar area of humerus, medial epicondyle, lateral econdyle or lateral epicondyle. Here you can see this coronoid process, radial head and neck. This is a normal anterior fat pad and posterior fat pad. Here in X-ray we see anterior fat pad and posterior fat pad. Here also we can see this is normal anterior fat pad. This is normal posterior fat pad. Whenever there is effusion due to hematoma formation, either due to fracture of supracondylar, fracture of humerus, or due to radial head or neck fracture, in both these conditions, in adults, there is a more chance of radial head or radial neck fracture, while in children, there is a more chance of supracondylar fracture of humerus. Whenever there is fracture to these particular structures, mainly the fracture will be occult. Occult fracture means it is hidden fracture. In X-ray, fracture will be hidden. In such conditions, there will be intra-articular and extrasynovial fat pad elevation due to this intra-articular hematoma formation due to the fracture. Whenever there is effusion due to hematoma due to the fracture, then the anterior fat pad will be elevated and it forms a particular sign called Sale sign. In this particular video, I will explain 4 special things to diagnose fracture in elbow joint. In lateral view X-ray, here we can see anterior fat pad, and this anterior fat pad is elevated due to intra-articular hematoma. Here in X-ray, we can see this is anterior fat pad sign is positive. Here, posterior fat pad sign is positive. Actually, anterior fat pad, already I discussed, is concealed within the coronoid fossa and seen paralleling the anterior humeral line. Whenever there is a joint effusion, the anterior fat pad, which is intra-articular but extrasynovial, becomes elevated. And this particular sign is called as Sale sign. And in adults, whenever there is Sale sign positive or anterior fat pad sign positive means it is due to radial head fracture. In children, the commonest cause is supracondylar fracture of humerus. Here, this is actually Sale sign. You can see the anterior fat pad like this. So that this particular sign is called as Sale sign. Hope you understood why it is called as Sale sign. Posterior fat pad sign is called as posterior fat pad sign itself, but anterior fat pad sign is known as Sale sign. If you see Sale sign in elbow lateral radiology X-ray, then surely there will be a fracture either over the head or neck of radius or over the supracondylar area of humerus. This is first thing, Sale sign positive. Here you can see this is posterior fat pad sign positive. This is Sale sign positive. Here you can see that Sale sign is positive. The same thing, this is normal here while comparing the anterior fat pad is just parallel to anterior humeral line, but here you can see that Sales sign is positive, posterior fat pad sign is positive. This is Sales sign positive. The second thing regarding elbow radiology is anterior humeral line. In anterior humeral line, whenever we draw a line through the anterior surface of humerus, then it should intersect the capitulum. Anterior 1/3 of capitulum should be intersected. The anterior 1/3 of capitulum should be intersected. This is supracondylar fracture of humerus, so that we can see that the anterior humeral line is not intersecting the anterior 1/3 of capitulum, and here anterior fat pad sign is positive or Sales sign is positive, and posterior fat pad sign is also positive. Here you can see, I will show the normal. In this anterior humeral line is not intersecting the anterior 1/3 of capitulum. Here in both these conditions also, anterior humeral line is not intersecting the anterior 1/3 of capitulum. I will show the normal X-ray in the next slides. Here, this is the third thing, radiocapitellar line. In radiocapitellar line, a line drawn the neck of radius. Through the neck of radius, a line is drawn should intersect the capitulum through the middle. It is in lateral view and also in AP view, but it is very much confirmed in lateral view X-ray. This anterior humeral line is to check whether there is supracondylar fracture of humerus. Radiocapitellar line is to check whether there is displacement to the head of the radius. Here you can see the most important thing regarding this is that don't draw a line through the shaft. Line should start from the neck. Why? Because there is a small angulation in between neck and shaft of the radius. So when we draw from the shaft, then it may change. So that always draw the line from through the center of the neck of radius. Here, the radiocapitellar line is not intersecting the capitulum, so that in this there is displacement of head of the radius. This is the radiocapitellar line and anterior humeral line. Actually, this is a normal anterior humeral and normal radiocapitellar line. Here you can see anterior humeral line is intersecting anterior 1/3 of the capitulum, and this radiocapitellar line through the middle of neck of radius is directly intersecting the capitulum. This is the second and third thing regarding elbow radiology. First thing was regarding anterior fat pad, which is also called as Sales sign, and second thing is posterior fat pad. Coming to the second one regarding elbow radiology is, first one is fat pad, second one is anterior humeral line, third one is radiocapitellar line, and the fourth one is regarding ossification. Here you can see that this radiocapitellar line is not intersecting the capitulum. In AP view also it is not intersecting the capitulum. Here it is not intersecting the capitulum. Actually, this is a Montague fracture at the proximal 1/3 of ulna along with superior radioulnar dislocation. Due to displacement of the head of the radius, it is not intersecting the capitulum. Actually, this is a normal. Fat pad is normal, humeral line is normal, radiocapitellar line is normal. This is a fracture of capitulum. In this fracture of capitulum also, this anterior humeral line and radiocapitellar line will change. The fourth thing is regarding elbow ossification centers. For that, we can take one mnemonic, CRITOE, CRITOE. C for capitulum, R for radial head, I for internal epicondyle or medial epicondyle, T for trochlea, O for olecranon, and E for external epicondyle or lateral epicondyle. And the age is capitulum ossification up to 1 to 2 years of age, radial head 3 to 4, medial epicondyle 5 to 6, trochlea 7 to 8, olecranon 9 to 10, and lateral epicondyle 11 to 12. This is the fourth thing regarding elbow radiology. Here, this is X-ray of age below 1. Here we can see C capitulum. Second one is a radial head. It is on the ear 3 to 4. And then next one is trochlea. Then next one is medial epicondyle. The next thing is olecranon process, and the last one is lateral epicondyle. This is the order CRITOE. The ossification starts from 1 and ends up to 11 to 12. And this ossification should also be kept in mind while we are viewing the radiology of elbow joint. This is CRITO or CRITO, CRITOL or CRITOE. By learning these things, 4 things: fat pad, anterior humeral line, radiocapitular line, and the ossification centers, we can learn the elbow radiology. We can identify the fracture very easily. And this is another thing. This is the carrying angle. Actually, this is the carrying angle. A line drawn through the center of humerus and a line drawn through the center of ulna. It forms the carrying angle. Actually, it is in between 10 to 15 degree. Carrying angle means normal outward deviation of supinated and extended forearm with respect to arm. In males, it is 11 degree, and in females, it is 15 degree. And we can see the normal carrying angle while viewing this X-ray AP view. We can check the carrying angle. And another one is we are drawing a line through the center of humerus and in between medial and lateral epicondyle. Actually, this angle is in between 75 degree and 90 degree. This is another thing. But the most important things are anterior fat pad, anterior humeral line, radiocapitular line, and then at last the ossification centers. Here we can see that the anterior humeral line is not intersecting the anterior 1/3 of capitulum, so that in this particular case there is fracture. Actually, this is a special view to check whether there is fracture to the head of the radius. Normal AP and lateral views are advised in elbow injury. We can take another view, radial head view, to view the head of the radius to check whether there is fracture. Please keep these things in mind while the examination and investigation of elbow regarding in children. Coming to the conclusion, in children, most commonly there is a chance of supracondylar fracture of humerus. To detect undisplaced supracondylar fracture of humerus, we can use this Sale sign or anterior fat pad sign. Whether there is a chance of undisplaced radial head fracture, in such conditions also we can use this anterior fat pad sign. Whenever there is subluxation or displacement of head of radius, radiocapitular line does not intersect the capitulum. And whenever there is mildly displaced supracondylar fracture, surely the very big displacement will be surely be identified. Whenever there is a slight displacement of supracondylar fracture of humerus, in such conditions also, anterior humeral line will not intersect the anterior 1/3 of capitulum. By knowing these things, we can easily identify the fracture and we do not miss the fracture in common OPD. Thank you.